Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining us today. We wanted to seek your good wishes and good blessings so that we can continue with actually the final part today of the Devatas. Wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyamsundar, Krishna Balaram, Govinda, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. So we've looked at quite a few demigods, Devatas. They include Brahma, Shiva, Durga Mata, Ganesh, Indra, Surya, Chandra, Agni, Yamraj, Saraswati, Kuver, Gayatri, Vayu, Hanuman, Kartikeya, Savitri, Varun Dev yesterday, and today the final demigod we wanted to look at was Vishwakarma. Of course, there are 330 million demigods. So we're not going to look at all of them, of course. This is, I think, 18 of the Devatas, probably the most prominent of them all. Hopefully we haven't missed any prominent ones. There are many, many others who are quite prominent as well. But I think this is where we'll stop today. So Vishwakarma. This is an idea of what Vishwakarma looks like. He's the divine architect of the whole universe and is the personification of the creative power that yields heaven and earth together. Vishwakarma is a presiding deity of all craftsmen and architects. He's the official builder of the Lord of the Indra's palaces, of the Devatas' palaces. All the divine weapons, chariots possessed by the Devatas are his creation, including the Vajra of Indra, from the bones of the sage, the Diji. He's also the chief architect and builder of Lanka, Dwaka, and Indraprasth. Vishwakarma's depiction varies dramatically from one region to another, though all picture him with creation tools. In the most popular depiction, he is depicted as follows. He's aged and a wise man with 4 arms. He has a white beard, carrying a water pot, book, noose, and a craftsman's tools, accompanied by his Vahan, Hamsa, the goose or the swan. He's seated on a throne and his 5 sons standing near him. So let's have a look at that picture again. Yeah, it's interesting. 5 sons. Swan is there. He's quite an elderly gentleman. He's got 4 hands and the different things are there, the water pots, etc. Okay, yeah, pretty accurate. In the eastern part of Bharat, he's depicted as a young, muscular man. He has a black moustache and is not accompanied by his sons. An elephant is his Vahan, suggesting that his association with Indra or Brihaspati. Now, there you go. It's another version. He's also portrayed as having 5 faces with 10 arms, holding a book, stylus, sword, adze, whatever that is, citron, cup, water pot, rosary, cobra, and noose. Okay, so we got another version of Vishwakarma. Interesting painting, this one. Vishwakarma created 5 Brahmas from each of his faces. They are Sanaga Brahma Rishi, Sanatana Brahma Rishi, Abhuvanas Brahma Rishi, Pratnasa Brahma Rishi, Supanasa Brahma Rishi. Rishi Panchami Dinam literally means the day of the solidarity of 5 rishis. Those who celebrate this day commemorate Vishwakarma on this day in which his 5 children, these are his 5 children. When he says 5 Brahmas, I think they may mean brahmacharis. Anyway, these 5 rishis came together to declare their solidarity and pray to their illustrious father. This day follows Ganesh Chaturthi and falls on 1st September 2022 this year. So not long to go. And on this day, many architects or those who design things would be worshipping him, Vishwakarma, because he is the devata of architecture. Vishwakarma Puja, 17th September every year is celebrated as Vishwakarma Puja as a resolution time for workers and craftsmen to increase productivity and gain divine inspiration for creating novel products. Yes, Nanivan.
Yes, what this is, it says Vishwakarma created 5 Brahmas. Not our Brahma, these are different, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is referring to his 5 children. His 5 children. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not quite sure the context of why they're saying Brahma, but I don't think it's in relation to the creator of this world. No, I don't think it's in relation to that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe they're Brahm Rishis as opposed to Brahma.
Yes, Brahma Rishis.
That's what he means, Brahm Rishis.
Yes, Brahma Rishis, yeah.
Yeah, maybe like that. Yeah. Good. This ritual usually takes place within the factory premises or shop floor. Vishwakarma Puja is also associated with the buoyant custom of flying kites. So 17th September is an interesting day in Bharat. Vishwakarma has many architectural wonders. Through the 4 yugas, he has built several towns and palaces for the devatas. In Satya Yuga, he built the Swarglok, or heaven, the abode of the devatas, where Lord Indra rules. In Treta Yuga, he built Sri Lanka, Soneki Lanka, because it was just made of gold. There's also a story behind the construction of Golden Lanka. When Lord Shiva married Parvati, he asked Vishwakarma to build a beautiful palace for them to reside. So this is quite interesting because Lord Shiva's residences are very simple, right? He doesn't actually bother even living in a palace. But of course, when Parvati became his consort, she would have had something to say about that. And so Lord Shiva asked Vishwakarma to build a beautiful palace for them. Vishwakarma put up a palace made of gold. For the housewarming ceremony, Shiva invited the wise Ravan, because Ravan was sought after. He was very apt in the scriptures. Even the devatas would engage him in performing the yajna. So you can see how qualified, if you like, Ravan was in terms of performing rituals. So he was asked to perform the Graha Pravesh ritual. After the sacred ceremony, when Shiva asked Ravan to ask anything in return as dakshina, Ravan, overwhelmed with the beauty and grandeur of the palace, asked Shiva for the golden palace itself. This is really incredible. And of course, Lord Shiva was obliged to accede to Ravan's wish, and Golden Lanka became Ravan's palace. So this shows the mentality of perhaps some of the devotees who worship the devatas. They become so envious of the devatas. They want what the devatas have. And Ravan, who was actually a demon, took Shiva's palace as dakshina. How ridiculous is that? Anyway. And Lord Shiva is so kind, he gave it. Dwapara Yuga. So we've done Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga. Dwapar Yuga, the city of Dwarka, where Krishna took his family, the Yadavas. So this was built practically overnight. Vishwakarma performed this miraculous act very quickly. And the city of Dwarka was humongous. There were thousands of palaces for each of the queens that Krishna married. Kali Yuga. Vishwakarma is said to have built the town of Hastinapur, the capital of Kaurav and Pandav, the warring families of Mahabharata. So this is right on the edge between Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. So it's taken into Kali Yuga. After winning the battle of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna installed Dharmaraj Yudhishthira as the ruler of Hastinapur. Indraprastha. Vishwakarma also built the town of Indraprastha for the Pandavas. The Mahabharata has it that King Dhritarashtra offered a piece of land called Khandavprastha to the Pandavas to live on. Yudhishthira obeyed his uncle's order and went to live in Khandavprastha with his Pandav brothers. But this was really not an inhabitable place at all. Of everything that Hastinapur owned, Khandavprastha was practically a desert with no life in it. But Vishwakarma converted it into a glorious kingdom. Later, Lord Krishna invited Vishwakarma to build a capital for the Pandavas on this land, which he named Indraprastha.
Prabhuji,
Yes, David.
where is Indraprastha now? Is it near somewhere?
Good question.
Somewhere near Delhi, Hastinapur, isn't it?
Yeah, Hastinapur
Likely to be somewhere there.
It must be close to it. I'm not quite sure exactly where it is. It's a good question. Should find out where it is.
It is near there in UP.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay. Have you been there, Geeta?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's near UP. It's in UP, near
In UP.
Hastinapur. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. History tells us about the architectural marvel and beauty of Indraprastha. Floors of the palace were so well done that they had a reflection like that of water, and the pools and ponds inside the palace gave the illusion of a flat surface with no water in them. After the palace was built, the Pandavas performed the Ashwamedh Yagya, inviting the Kauravas, and Duryodhana and his brothers went to visit Indraprastha. Not knowing the wonders of the palace, Duryodhana was flummoxed by the floors and the pools and fell into one of the ponds. So sometimes he was walking and he would see some water or what looked like water, and he would try to avoid that. And actually it was not water, it was actually a floor. And then sometimes he would just see a normal floor, he would be walking through it and it'd fall into the water, into the pond. And that made people laugh. And here it's said the Pandava's wife Draupadi witnessed this scene, had a good laugh. Actually, it may not necessarily been her. Maybe some of her maidservants found it very funny, but she was a very cultured person. And apparently she retorted, hinting at Duryodhana's father, the blind king, Dhritarashtra. This is the son of a blind man. A son of a blind man is bound to be blind. Now, again, this is a quote that is often attributed to Draupadi, but it's not the sort of quote that sort of remark that she would make. If she made such a remark, Yudhishthira would have given her a good telling off, because Yudhishthira was very paka when it comes to etiquette. He wouldn't want to upset anybody. Anyway, so these comments have come probably from other sources, but they really upset Duryodhana. And perhaps he was thinking that these comments were made by Draupadi, and hence why his hatred towards Draupadi. This remark of Draupadi annoyed Duryodhana so much that later on it became major cause for the great war of Kurukshetra, described in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita. So this is a thing which about envy. And one of the prime reasons why we are in this world is because of envy. We envied the Supreme Lord and his position and wanted to have perhaps some of the opulence that he has, and he's facilitated that opportunity by creating this material world and allowing us some freedom to lord it over this world. But of course, we all know that any attempt to lord over this world is futile, because we're in the wrong place. We're in the wrong world. We're a little bit like fish out of water. So somehow or other, we have to try to reduce this envy within us. We all have it because that's the original sin. That's why we're here. So when we see others in a better position than we are, we become envious instead of being happy for them. And that's very important, that we try to cultivate this mood of, yes, we see somebody in a better position, we become happy for them. Yes, let them enjoy. Otherwise, we'll always be in an unhappy situation ourselves, because we'll always want what somebody else has. And that's not going to happen. That will lead to frustration, like it did for Duryodhana. He saw the kingdom of Yudhishthira, which was far more opulent than Hastinapur. But Hastinapur was not a beggar's palace. It was fully opulent in every sense. Yet it wasn't enough for Duryodhana, even though he had all the riches of his father, which he's not entitled to anyway. But still, he was not happy. So this is a really phenomenal example for us, that this mood of Duryodhana, we should try to, keep well away from. Very important. Otherwise, we'll never be satisfied in this world and never make any spiritual progress. What's his family? He's often stated to be the son of Brahma, but it differs in many other texts. In the Nirukta and the Brahmanas, he's stated to be the son of Bhuvana. In the Mahabharata and the Hari Vamsh, he's son of Vasu, Prabhash, and Yogasiddha. In the Puranas, he's the son of Vastu. Vishwakarma is the father of 3 daughters named Bahar Hismati, Samgya, and Chitrangat. In other texts, Vishwakarma is presented as the husband of Gritachi. From his navel was born Twastar. Vishwakarma is also described to be the father of a son named Vishwarup. So that we've come across, right? We've come across that in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it was, which canto was that? Might have been the 6th canto. Vishwakarma's daughter, Sanjana, was married to the sun god Surya, and his daughter Saranya was married to Vaivasvat Manu. Indra's palace on earth. Aitreya is a descendant of sage Atri. He has done many yagyas. He had done many yagyas and was able to go to any place he liked. One day, in the course of his wanderings, he came to the court of Indra, which fascinated him by its beauty and festivities. He thought that no other place could be more pleasant, and he wanted it with all his heart. His modest hut could not please him anymore. He called his wife and told her, "What sort of rubbish are you giving me to eat? Does it taste good? Your fruits and vegetables cannot come anywhere near the foods I ate at Indra's court." So Aitri Rishi, right? He's a simple sadhu with a simple hut and a simple wife who would give him simple fruits and veg. But Suddenly it did not taste the same after he visited Indra's court. So saying, he called Vishwakarma and he asked him to make his hermitage like Indra's palace. If you do not do as I tell you, I shall reduce you to ashes by curse. Whew. The buildings, the court, the gardens, the elephant, the horses, chandelier, the music, the food in the court, all these must be as they are in Indra's palace. Afraid of the curse, Vishwakarma forthwith built a palace which could rival Indra's palace. Much pleased, the Muni said, "This is the very thing I wanted." After some time, however, the demons began to frown at the palace and said, "Look, that fellow Indra has surreptitiously left the heaven and built up a home on earth. Let us go and give him a good thrashing for killing our Vrittasura." So this is interesting. So this Aitri Rishi was living in a nice hut. Now he's got a fantastic palace. But at the same time, he's going to make some enemies because everybody's thinking, or the demons are thinking, that this fellow is actually Indra. And they are envious of him because Vrittasura was killed by Indra. So he's come down on, they're thinking he's come down on earth. Let's give him a hiding. Shouting, "Kill Indra, kill Indra." The demons in the body laid under, the demons together laid that palace under siege. The Muni was happily reclining on his bed, but when he heard the shouts of the demons, he became mortally afraid. Within minutes, using all kinds of weapons, the demons reduced the palace to a heap of rubble. The Muni himself did not escape some minor injuries. He came out trembling, and going to the demons, he told them with folded hands, "I swear, I am not Indra. I am a Muni, a Brahmin, and a very poor and innocent man. Why are you so angry with me? So then the demons asked him, "So then, why have you been posing as Indra? Remove your trappings at once," said the demons. "At once, I am doing as you say. I must have lost my head and did these foolish things. I shall never do it again." Vishwakarma was summoned and was told by the Muni to replace the palace with his modest ashram. He told him, "Do it soon or I shall die at the hands of his demons." Realizing that the Muni was in great danger, Vishwakarma readily obeyed, and the hut and forest reappeared where a short while ago a palace stood. However, before he left, Vishwakarma enjoyed a hearty laugh at the predicament of the Muni. That's it. So I wanted to stop there. Oh, Geeta, yes.
Prabhuji, actually, I want to correct myself. Indrapast, I think, is what is now Delhi, because there is reference to it in the Chanakya tales.
Right.
I think it all sort of died Indrapast after or at the end of the Maurya dynasty. And Hastinapur is what is now the present UP.
Oh, okay. So you mean Hastinapur was so huge?
Because there is reference to it when I've been listening and reading about Chanakya. I don't know if you've heard the name Chanakya.
Yeah, Chanakya, very famous.
And the Maurya dynasty.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
of course. Wow.
So it may well be that Indraprasth could be near, or maybe what is now presently known as Delhi.
Right.
I thought Hastinapur was presently Delhi. So I thought I may be wrong.
I don't think so.
Because when Balaram went there after the kidnapping of Samba, he went to Hastinapur and he used his plow to bring it into the Ganga. So,
Right.
and the Ganga, was it the Yamuna? Must be the Ganga.
Ganga.
Ganga passes through Delhi, is it? Hastinapur?
No, that's Yamuna.
That's Yamuna, yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
Anyway.
Ganga is further, I think it's further east, isn't it?
Mm.
Northeast.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Maybe you can
I'll have to
enlighten
look
us.
it up. I'll have to
Yeah,
look
look
it
it
up.
up.
I'll have
Yeah.
to refresh my
This is your
memory.
homework.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, it'd be good to know. Because I always thought Hastinapur is the current day Delhi, but fair enough. If
Okay.
no.
Okay. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken then. Okay.
I probably am. It's more my speculation than anything else. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to know. It'd be interesting to
Yes, yes, yes.
know. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Yeah, so that's the end of the devatas. Most important thing to understand is these devatas are wonderful devotees of the Lord. They're serving the Lord in an administrative capacity to assist the Lord with the functioning of this world, headed by Brahma, who is like the prime minister, and he's supported by great souls. Sometimes when these great souls are not available, the Lord himself becomes Brahma, or he becomes Indra, or he becomes Surya. So it shows the importance of these roles, that the Lord himself will take the role in order to continue for the universe to function. So we can't take these demigods or devatas to be just ordinary personalities. No, they're extraordinary personality. They're servants of the Supreme Lord in a amazing capacity. However, having said that, sometimes there's an inclination to worship the demigods and obtain fruits from them, obtain benefits from them. That is also not regarded very good. Especially Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that the fruits, the benefits that the demigods can give is temporary and limited as well. So our worship should be exclusively to the Supreme Lord, but we offer respects to the devatas. We offer respects to all living entities. But devatas in a different class, because they're serving the Lord in a different capacities to allow us to live in this world in a peaceful way. So most of these demigods, some of them have protective jurisdiction of various areas of the universe. So they're there to protect. If we have an inclination to insult the demigods for whatever reason, that really is not a good mentality to have. We're venturing into Vaishnava Parad because they're all Vaishnavas, they're all worshippers of Vishnu. They do understand that Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and they are worshippers of Vishnu. Sometimes they may forget that, and hence they may perform some activities then which we know from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Brahma was put under some illusion. Lord Indra was put under some illusion. But these are to help us understand the position of the Supreme. And we should not feel that the devatas themselves have they're not under that illusion. This is Yoga Maya, where the Lord actually puts them under this illusion in order to teach us a very important instruction. And I think that's the mood that we should really accept the demigods in terms of whatever Leela they perform with the Lord. It's that they are simply serving the Lord by engaging themselves in that capacity, whatever capacity that is. Even if it's in a negative mood towards the Supreme Lord.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
at the same time, Krishna says in the Gita that he gives intelligence to these people, at least if when they're worshipping the demigods, let them continue to do
Yeah.
their function in the best way, so that let them progress in that direction and eventually reach me.
Correct, correct. Don't disturb them, Krishna says.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Who are we to disturb any? Of course, it doesn't mean we if yeah, I hear what you're saying. But if the opportunity avails itself, then it's good to, try to show people the right direction, because the worship of demigods will take you to a certain degree, take you to a certain place. But actually, you're being denied the worship of the Supreme Lord by worshiping. I think earlier on, right at the beginning, when we were talking about worship of demigods, one is regarded as an atheist if one worships the demigods. Why? Because you are taking away the worship of the Supreme Lord by worshiping the demigods. So in one sense, if the opportunity avails itself, then definitely one should help enlighten people that the worship of demigods is temporary. Yes, you've been doing it all your life, but don't worry. We're not saying to you, ignore your worshipable deity. All we're saying is add Krishna or add Vishnu to your life. That's all. That's all we're saying. Add Vishnu to your life. And in that way, you won't be insulting the devata. In fact, the devatas will be very happy because you will be worshipping their boss. The devatas are already worshipping Vishnu. If you also worship Vishnu, how do you think the devatas will feel? They'll be happy that you're worshipping their boss. You know what I mean, Naliben? Does it make sense?
Yeah, yes, it makes sense. But I think I don't remember which verse it is, but it does say that eventually with that they will come to me.
I think what he says
something will happen. Something will happen, and then it will guide them towards me. So
it says something like they're worshipping me, but in an indirect way.
Indirect way.
Yeah, that's right. So not necessarily one will reach the Krishna, because he also says very clearly, those who worship the demigods will go to the planets of the demigods. Those who worship me will come to.
Remember this verse? I don't remember. So I need to.
Yeah, it's there. I can't remember exactly what the reference is, but yeah, we'll find it. Basically, he says something like, don't disturb those who worship the demigods. Indirectly, they're worshiping me through the demigods. But he also very clearly explains that those who worship the demigods go to the planets. I think that is, if I'm not mistaken, 723 in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 23, I think. But I can't remember exactly. Anybody remember?
I'm looking at the Google search.
Yeah, our guru is Google.
Google, yes.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So he's quite clear on that. But he does say that don't disturb those who are not worshipping me. Indirectly, they're worshipping me. But indirectly is not the same as directly worshipping him. The result is different. So wherever we can, like for example, in this center, we are going to put a deity of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. Although strictly speaking, they're Mahadev, right? Is head of the demigods. He's Devata. So the idea is to educate that, yes, we are going to have this deity here, but the idea is that he is also a servant of the Supreme Lord. So in due course of time, those who are Shiv Bhaktas, hopefully will come to the realization. We won't disturb them unnecessarily. If they want to come and worship Lord Shiva as the Supreme Lord, hey, we're not going to stop them. But the idea is the place of education is there so that those who are inquisitive, we will be able to have an opportunity to give them that guidance. That yes, who does Lord Shiva? He's holding this mala in his hands. Who's he doing mala to? So like that, in that way, we can try to do but we won't disturb them. Because if you disturb somebody, they'll just go the other direction. All my life I've been worshipping Lord Shiva, and you're telling me he's simply a demigod. They get very upset. And why would we want to upset somebody who's already worshipping in some way or other? So, but education is important. It shouldn't be that we let somebody go down the wrong route who wants to learn more. We give them the opportunity to learn. I hope that's okay, Naliban.
Prabhuji, yeah.
Right.
My other question about this is, I don't believe in that, but majority of the people, they want their results for their children, for the exams, for a good job, for salary, progress, because this is such a competitive, materialistic world. And if these are the people who will worship the demigods and they will get the results. But I'm not saying that what they're doing is good, but because they don't know about the future life, what is going to happen. They want results in this birth, in this lifetime that they have got.
Yes.
They will realize eventually. So I think that is a reason why so many are there who are in the sort of worshipping of the demigods, rather than have patience to wait that what Krishna does is what Krishna does is good for them, rather than what you want from Krishna.
Yes, correct. I think this is the thing, isn't it? We know what we want, Krishna, or and this is what's good for me. This is what Arjun said to Krishna, right? The whole first chapter. Krishna, this is what is required, and what does Krishna do? He remains silent, doesn't say a word. But as soon as Arjun surrendered to Krishna, then Krishna, okay, now you're willing to listen. Before you were not willing to listen. Now I'll guide you. But yeah, you're right. We think we know what we need to succeed in life, but we're not going to listen to what really will help us succeed. And that's what, Krishna wants for us. So yes, that's why people approach the devatas to get these benefits quickly. But Krishna also, in the Bhagavatam, it says, even if you have some desire, material desire, education, family, wealth, still approach Krishna, because by approaching Krishna, even with those desires, he will decide, is this good for my devotee, or is this not going to be helping him? And accordingly, he will give. So this is the kindness of the Lord. He doesn't say to us, don't desire anything. He knows we have desires. He knows we're in the material world. He knows we're contaminated. But by approaching him, slowly that contamination reduces. So he's very kind. He allows us to approach. So even sometimes people think, we shouldn't approach Krishna if we have material desires. No. And we should approach the devatas. No. Still approach Krishna. Of course, it's best if we don't burden Krishna with our material sort of desires, because that's like asking for broken glass, which is what Dhruv Maharaj said. I was looking for broken glass and I found diamonds in you, my Lord. So rather than looking for broken glass in this world, we can approach the Supreme Lord and find diamonds,
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, many people do worship Ganpati or Saraswati. And again, there's no harm. There's no harm. It's not sinful. It's not sinful to approach the devatas. But the result is temporary. It's not going to do you ultimate good. So why not go for something which will give you forever benefit rather than just in this lifetime?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Sitaram. Yes.
One thing I would like to add, well, when we would become devotee and we were following the classes, and we come across those verses which Krishna says, whatever you want, whatever you need, I will just provide you. So devotees they are just desiring everything, Now I know my friend who is very poor. I told him, preach with him. You chant his holy name. What are you just saying? I need this. Everything we available to you. And after 5 or 10 years, he has his own land, home, and his children are just doing very progress. And once he met me and he just fall at my heart, what at my feet, and what are you doing, man? Prabhu Sitaram, you had told me all these things. Everything is okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Haribol, Prabhu.
Thank you. No, it's good. Good. Okay. Thank you so much. Anything else? Anybody else? So that was, we finished the series on Devatas, which was, I must admit, interesting. It's good to know these personalities and how they function, or at least get a little idea of how they function. So, Devatas ki jai, Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai.